are you one of those tough soldiers who is plodding along, supporting your aging parents? Are you finding it difficult, but you are like, who else is going to help my parents? Who else is going to do this for me? Who else is going to do it for them? I want to set you free from the guilt of supporting your aging parents. I want you to consider where your life is now. If you have put your life on hold, if you are not going after your dreams, if you are not even chasing the dreams that you wanted as a child, especially if you're after 40, after 50, after 60, because society tells us when you retire from your job, your life is over, that can bring some unnecessary pain, emotional pain. So you may decide to just throw yourself into supporting your parents. I want you to be kinder to yourself. I want you to be really kind to yourself and think, am I really going to show up as the best version of me that my parents need in this chapter of their life, this challenging chapter of their life, when I am not where I want my life to be? I just want you to have that little conversation with yourself like, is this all I'm going to be doing for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? I want to set you free from feeling guilty. I want you to start supporting your parents from a place of guilt-free. And I want you to think about it this way. And by the way, if we've never met before, my name is Meg. I used to work as a registered nurse in the NHS and in 2 other countries. So I've actually worked in 3 different countries as a registered nurse. And I also worked in Bupa private hospitals in the south of England. Then I also worked in the community with families who had an aging parents dealing with different types of illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, Parkinson's, motor neuron disease, chronic kidney disease, memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's, heart problems, pacemakers. Some had just come out of surgery. I have supported patients and people in the community, elderly people in the community, who the family don't know what to do. Sometimes some of the family members had mental health issues and they were getting really aggressive and nobody in the family could handle that. That's the kind of work that I was able to do, and I'm so grateful for that experience. But even for me, as a trained professional, I knew at some point I could not continue doing that. I knew just from observing how my body was responding that I needed to be taking regular breaks. I was taking so many regular breaks that I realized, actually, I think my body is telling me it's time to wind down and close this chapter in my life. And that was kind of hard because I really enjoyed looking after the elderly. I enjoyed meeting so many different families from all sorts of backgrounds, from Asian families, American families, English families, African families. It was so diverse. I knew at some point something had to give. And I knew that if I'm not well rested, I'm not making this up, right? I knew that if I'm not well rested, I'll be showing up at work irritable, or snap at a patient, or snap at somebody. And that doesn't look good. That's not right. That's unprofessional, right? So I knew I always had to be professional. You can imagine the pressure on that. So I took regular breaks. As trained as I am, and as, I passed the mom test every time. I always came into a family and treated each family as unique and different, because we're all different. I can't support a new family the way I did with somebody else. Every new family was a learning experience. I remember one lady that I supported who was I can't remember what her field of study was, but oh my goodness, she didn't make it easy for anyone, including her own adult children. Her own adult children were walking on eggshells. But being a professional, I used to call things out real straight up, like, we're not doing that, this is not healthy, this is not safe. Because this was the kind of person who would wake up in the middle of the night, not remember they've had their medication, and take extra medication. To the point where sometimes we had to call the ambulance 01 in the morning. You can imagine what that does to you. So I've been in your shoes, and I know you have the emotional attachment. It's your mom, it's your dad. That is actually why you need to step back. This is so important. You need to step back and get a team in place. I implore you. I am begging you. Get a plan in place, get a team in place to support you. Now, you will, all sorts of ideas and objections will be coming up in your mind, like, oh, I'm not sure I can trust strangers, or these people are just business-minded and all this. Yes, to support our families in the communities, we have to be set up legally as businesses, right? As coaches, like in my case, I'm a coach, so I would be like a freelancer. I'm not with a huge company, no. What I would do is come in and consult with you, right? And then, because of my 8 years experience, including my healthcare, which is like 3 decades, we would start looking at what's possible and what is not possible. Because think about it this way, if you step back, you'll be able to support your parents from an objective perspective. What does that mean? You will not be emotionally entangled. You'll be looking at what's the right support for my mom or my dad, or for both. You'll be thinking, what is the best care that they need? This is the information that I'm getting. These are the ideas I'm hearing. You can do your research online. You can go on YouTube right now and search elderly care. And then look at the discussions that have like thousands of views. Because you're going to go into the comment section and you're going to hear some things that are going to probably terrify you. Because you will realize, oh my goodness, this is not going to be easy. Things are only going to get worse. If it looks worse now, if it looks bad now, it's actually going to get worse. Because you know what? Sometimes it's not even safe to keep your parents at home. So anyhow, going back to stepping back, I want you to think of yourself like a business owner. And you've got a family member who needs the right support. Legally, you have a duty of care to make sure your parents have the right support. I don't want to get into the legal aspect, but it's worth saying you have a duty of care to give your parents the right support that they need in this chapter in their life. Do not take all the burden, all the responsibility on your own shoulders. You have not been trained to do that. And even if you are trained, as I said in my case, you can only do so much. You need to step back. You absolutely need to step back because you can see everything from a better perspective, from a higher vantage point. Now, what this would mean is you can put a team in place of highly motivated, keyword, highly motivated caregivers. What are highly motivated caregivers and how different are they from ordinary caregivers? Caregivers who are hired by big agencies, there is a huge difference. Caregivers or carers in the United Kingdom, caregivers in the US, Canada, or Australia, I can't remember which other one, they are working with another big agency, so they are not as well compensated. So this does raise up, let me be honest with you, some resentment. Some of the caregivers get upset that they know clients pay good money, but that's all they get paid. To be honest, if you have the right people in place, you don't need to always be working with an agency. An agency is really good because they have a huge pool of people that they can draw from. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying anything negative about that. But sometimes, having worked in the community, what I have observed, if you really want to be hands-on with supporting your parents, find private caregivers. Private caregivers are highly motivated to make sure that they are supporting your parents at the highest level possible. Because it's their own little business. They're self-employed. And it is to their benefit, it is to their advantage that they are providing a good service. The good thing is you can be directly involved. You can be asking questions. What about this? What about that? Right? Ideally, most importantly, you want those that have already been vetted. They have references. They have the experience. They've done more than a year. They've done this for more than a year. If they've done it for 3 years, even better. You want to look at their leadership skills. You want to make sure they pass the mom test. So you've got all these different things. You also want to do a risk assessment. You want to make sure that you are building a strong support system around you so that this becomes a sustainable long-term goal. Is that making sense? Because listen to this, when you are not over-exhausted, when you're not near burnout, you are better at supporting your parents and the small team that you're building around you because you're not tired. You know, you wake up fresh and you have peace of mind. You can ask questions. You can check with your GP. You know, there's a lot to go into this. And what I want to say right now is if this resonates with you and you need some support, you're not sure what to do, leave me a message, comment below, and I'll be in touch with you soon. Bye for now.